afternoon. Thank you for joining us on Boys and Girls Club of St. Lucie County's ClubCast. You know, we have so many people who are involved in Boys and Girls Clubs across St. Lucie County, but today I have a special guest. Our special guest today is Assistant Chief of Police of Port St. Lucie, Ricard Del Toro, who has been with us for several years and now holds the title as chair of our board. So, Rich.
Thank you for having me today.
No, thank you for coming in. I mean, I know I call you a lot. I probably call you 3 or 4 times a day. And but that's what you call a good working relationship for the kids. So tell us a little bit about your role in the Boys and Girls Clubs.
Well, currently, like you mentioned, my role is chair or president of the board of directors. We have 22 members on our board, and that they do other things in life and other titles like myself. Yes. I work at the police department, but we're from all different walks of life. But we're all on this board, and basically our job on the board is to make sure that the organization has strong policies and procedures, and that we have a CEO like yourself that executes that vision that we have, which is to provide our kids with that world-class club experience. Yes. And so it's not something we take lightly. It's something we take very serious, and we want to, give our kids the best opportunity possible to succeed.
That's awesome. Well, I remember us sitting down and talking to you several years back when we brought you on. I think we kind of threw a line out to you.
I think, yeah.
We kind of played you a little bit, but since that time, we have come a long way. I mean, if you think about some of the things that you have implemented, some policies and some procedures, obviously it's a collective board thing. Absolutely. But you as the leader of the board, you have been able to rally the troops, rally the right people to sit on our board. I mean, we have the chair of the county commissioners on our board, vice mayors on our board, we have business people, we have attorneys on our board. We have a full gamut of professionals on our board that make up a good portion of St. Lucie County. Absolutely. And so I want to know, I mean, you talked about what you do from a board perspective, and you gave that standard answer about the kids. I want to know why you do it, because it's not just Boys and Girls Clubs. I mean, you have your own organization, which I like to talk about that, and you get your kids involved.
Absolutely.
There are some passions you have about people, but I think it's important not only that you guys give your time, talent, and treasure from the Port St. Lucie Police Department, but you as an individual, why do you do it?
Well, being a police officer is all about serving other people, and I really believe that. I'm not afraid to say this, but I believe we're built in God's image, and when you're built in God's image, you're built to serve. I mean, Jesus was the ultimate servant leader, in my opinion, and I think that's why it feels so good when you do it, because when you're built that way and you're helping other people, and being a police officer, I guess selfishly allows me to fulfill that need that I have. But as I was coming up in the ranks and being exposed to different things in the community, I wanted to be a part of an organization, and I really did my homework, and Boys and Girls Club was just the right fit for me. Kids are the most vulnerable citizens we have out here. They need us the most to not only protect them, but help grow them into future leaders within the community, to just be good, outstanding citizens. So it fits those needs for me, and I just think it's, it's just, for me, I guess selfishly, I like serving people, and it fulfills that need for me. But Boys and Girls Club, I've just been introduced to so many people throughout the community that are very like-minded, like yourself. It didn't take much to get me on the board. It's what I was looking for. But I've met so many good board members that have been good role models to me. I call them Hall of Famers. I joke about that sometimes. Guys like yourself that were previously on the board, our previous board chair, Nate Sparrow, who's our fire chief now, guys like Charles Kumo, Doug Farrell, people that just inspire me because they do it for the right reasons.
Right.
Nothing is they're not expecting anything. I mean, they're successful people, they're using their positions to help other people. And I think that's what we should do in life, is pay it forward. And it feels good to do it. And I was talking about this last night at our Citizens Police Academy. I'm not going to be assistant chief of police my entire life. These are rented titles, and I just think you have an obligation when you get an opportunity to serve in a position like this to use that position for good, because one day when it's over, you want to walk away, look back with your head held high, and know you did the best possible job you could do. So selfishly for me, that's why I do it. But I really just enjoy serving other people.
Well, it's evident by just what you do in the community. I mean, you are known as a selfie king. So that means that you are all over the place.
That kind of took off a little bit.
That took off. It was a big deal. You know what? I could not do this. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about your chief, because your chief allows his assistant chief to just be mobile and just really get out in the community, because whether if it's a Boys and Girls Club kid or another kid, you're able to move and shake and change lives. Like, that's what you're able to do. So talk about the chief for a second.
How much time you got?
You don't have a lot, but I want to talk about the chief.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about the chief. Number one, he's probably one of the best people that I know. Forget about the police work aspect. I mean, he's a good cop, he's a good leader, but just as a person, he's a salt of the earth guy. He would do anything for anybody. If you called him in the middle of the night, told him you had a pipe that broke in your wall, he'd be there to fix it for you. He's just somebody who I just love, admire, and respect as a man, as a leader. He just is. I'm blessed to work for him, and he allows me the opportunity to get out in the community. But he's out in the community as well. I mean, it's definitely a team effort, but he leads by example. He sets a good example for not only the troops, but for people like myself. And I've learned a lot of different things from a lot of different leaders, but he's someone who I spent a lot of time in my career with. He was my very first sergeant when I got hired at the Port St. Lucie Police Department. When I became a sergeant, he was my first lieutenant.
Wow.
And obviously when I became assistant chief, he was the chief, and we just had a great relationship. And I just can't say enough good things about him. We're blessed to have him in the community at the police department, but he does a lot. I do the selfie things and all, we joke about that, but he does a lot of things that people don't see. And like I said, we're very fortunate to have him, and luckily for us, he wants to stick around a few more years. So.
Well, that's great. Well, we appreciate you, Chief Bodar. Keep doing a fine job for the citizens. Lastly, you got a great organization. We have about a minute left, so talk a little bit about it, because your daughters, your family, everyone's involved in it. So take it away.
Our daughters and their two best friends, they started this organization called Treasure Coast Hope for the Homeless Foundation, and it started out just as an idea to help families in need. And innocently enough, this was 6-7 years ago when they were very small. They saw some people that were, kind of asking for money, and they just said, wow, we want to do something for them. And they started lemonade stands and just collecting clothes to help people get jobs, because in their mind they thought if they don't look good, they're not going to be able to get jobs.
Right. And
that's just grown now into a nonprofit organization where we help low-income and homeless families in need, and that's just why we exist. We do not have any type of a paid staff, strictly volunteer-based, but these kids are making a difference in the world, starting right here on the Treasure Coast. And when I look for inspiration, I don't have to look far, because I see those kids, they're doing things for the right reasons and helping people, and it's just an unbelievable blessing to see it every single day.
That's awesome. Well, I got to call you board chair, Chief. Hey, thank you for all you do. Hey, this is my guy right here. He is our board chair for Boys and Girls Clubs, doing some wonderful things. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.